ensure that it's being recorded properly. Yep, it is. So yeah, all this is recorded, and I will go ahead and give that link and this recording to Terrace. So I'll go ahead and send that to him, and however he normally posts it, that's how you guys will be able to access it. Can we trade with test coins? Yes. So all these accounts will be test accounts. So that's what we mean by paper trading. Paper trading means that we're going to be using fake money to actually make our trades and work that way. So instead of you having to risk $1,000 yourself and potentially lose that, we're going to start off with, hey, let's just start off with some fake money, and then see how you can go ahead and practice your trades, buy and sell, and ensure that things are done correctly. And then, maybe later on, once everyone feels comfortable with their trading skills, we can go ahead and do something a little bit fun where we start with like $100. Okay. If we have no other questions, we can go ahead and continue here. And yeah, that's why I said the reason why we're doing TradingView, it's super easy, super accessible for everyone. And you actually are able to do both on the website and on your phone. Can we trade anything, or we have a particular pair to focus on? That's a really good question. So to keep it as fair as possible, and more so like more uniform for everyone to be able to at least have something to focus on and not just have to go wild west and try anything random, we have set some assets that you can use. And it's pretty much because this is like a crypto esque trading competition. We're gonna try to focus on some of their crypto uh, assets, and as you can see here, they do have some crypto stuff. They have crypto, they have Bitcoin, they have ETH. So I think we're gonna try to focus on more of like the crypto side of things. What I wasn't able to figure out is like like how much they can go ahead and do into the Soul. So as you can see, they have Soul futures and stuff like that. So you're able to see Soul, you're able to buy and sell. This symbol can't be traded through this broker. So the the limitations with TradingView are a little bit more seen when you try to do the trading. So what we're probably thinking of doing is just doing Bitcoin and Ethereum, because those are the only two cryptocurrencies that are actually tradable and done well through paper trading. If we were doing something that wasn't paper trading, we'd be able to do a lot more. But right now with crypto, they only have Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I think Ethereum is like a newer one, because for a while they just had Bitcoin, but now they're trying to expand a little bit more. So I'm sure that they'll add other things like Solana, Avalanche, and things like that. But right now, I think the only two that we're focusing on is Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'll talk to Terrace about it, see if maybe he wants to expand it to some other things, like some stocks, maybe some Apple, some Tesla, some Netflix. Maybe we can go ahead and do that. But as far as I know, we wanted to keep it a little bit more crypto centric, and that's why we were gonna do Bitcoin and Ethereum. I had told him we should try to do Solana, AVAX, maybe USDT, but unfortunately, the paper trading functionalities for TradingView doesn't include those, just because I mean they started off as a indexes, stocks, and for like forex and stuff. I think recently they're starting to do a little bit more of crypto esque. Okay. Somehow Terrace must. Oh, okay. Terrace is in the audience. I was like, whoa, how is he? How is my man's in the meeting listening to what I'm saying? But I see you in the audience now. I was so confused. I was like, dude, this man is like somehow hearing what I'm saying when he's not here. But yes, I think that doing Bitcoin, Ethereum, at least for the first one, will be fine. Try to see if I can figure out when they're going to be adding more cryptocurrencies to the platform, because you are able to see the other charts. So in terms of like the charting things, you're able to see a lot of different kinds of cryptocurrencies, but their actual trading functionalities on their paper trading stuff doesn't doesn't allow you to. I hope that answers your question. I think so. All right. So I don't know if I can post this, and maybe Terrors will have to go ahead and share this link with you guys, but he shared this with me, and I think it was like the perfect introduction to how to make sure that everything in your account works properly. So I'll see if he can share this with you guys. I don't know, Terrace, if you can share this link, the one that you sent me about the paper trading with TradingView. I think that's going to be a really important link for everyone to follow, especially if they're not here right now and they're just watching this recording back. this will pretty much walk them through it. The video itself is pretty good, but even if they're just able to read through all these steps, they will have exactly everything that they need to go ahead and get started. So I don't know if you can share this link here with everyone here, because I doubt it would work if I try it. Um, Let me know if you can do that. And then also put this in some of the, you need the paper trading link for that one we had in the chat. Yes, it's this one, tradingview.com/support/solutions, and then a big other word, a bunch like that. I'll send it to you in Discord again, just so you have it like at the very top. Um, but that, I think that this link, I think, would be very important for everyone to have, both people who are attending and people who are watching it later on, because this walks you through pretty much the whole setup and how to go ahead and start your trades. If for some reason what I say doesn't make sense, you can go ahead and have someone else show you a different way. What I probably do is I will open this in another browser, so you guys can see it brand new, because I'm already signed into my account, so that then that way you can see what it looks like to go brand new. So if you're just opening up this link, and like I said, Terrace will share this with you guys, and there it is. It's right there on the chat. If you guys open this link, this will pretty much walk you through all the steps that you need to do to get started with paper trading. And if for some reason none of something that I says doesn't make sense, you'll be able to see these steps step by step here on this website. But pretty much the first thing you're gonna do, if you've already read through this, is you're gonna hit the get started button at the top right. This is pretty much you starting off creating your account. There's a lot of different ways to create an account. So if you're actually thinking of using this as more than just a paper trading platform or a trading paper account, you have different options that give you more charts, more indicators, historical bars, a bunch of things that you would need as a regular trader if this is something you're going to be doing. But for our intents and purposes, all we need is a free account. We don't need anything more than that. So you go ahead and as soon as you see this pop up, you can go ahead and see $0 forever, sign up. And you have a lot of different ways that you can sign up. You can sign up with Google, you can sign up with Facebook, you can sign up with X, Yahoo, Apple, LinkedIn, or email. So anything you want to sign up with, go ahead and do that. Once you finish a sign up, you're able to go ahead and see your account afterwards. I won't do it again because I already have two accounts. I accidentally made, so if you have an iPhone, for some reason the only thing that it allows you to sign up with is Apple. So if you're going to be using it on your computer and your iPhone, I would suggest to sign in with Apple, just because that way you'll have the same account both on your laptop or PC as you will on your phone. Because unless I made a mistake on on my iPhone, it only gave me the option to sign up with Apple. So now if I want to go ahead and sync up, because the first time I went ahead and signed up, I signed up with Google. So now if I want to use the same account on both devices, I'll have to um, sign up with Apple here and then use that same account on both places. So once you guys do that, sign up. If you guys want, sign up right now live, so I can walk you guys through any questions, any concerns that you guys may have. But that's pretty much the first step, signing up. Once you do, you're able to come back to this page. I would suggest just having this whole page open as you do the whole process, whether you're doing it right now live or you're doing it later. Once keep this open, but now you're actually able to go through TradingView. So if you don't see this page after you're done your sign up, I would just suggest go to tradingview.com, and then that's the easiest link that you can remember. Go there, and the easiest thing to do, there's a couple ways to get to the same page that we were just at. You can either go to markets, look at the different things, or on the right side, and you'll see this thing too on your phone at the bottom. Just look through any of the little tickers and just click on one of them. So as soon as I click on Bitcoin, I'm able to see this. This gives me some overviews of the charts, some of the things that you need to know about the key stats, more information about Bitcoin. But what we really care about right now is getting back to the full chart. So if you click on Bitcoin, you hit full chart, it will open up that same page that we were just at. Um, TradingView is somewhat confusing at the start, just because there's a lot of different buttons. There's a lot of information being thrown at you. But just remember that as soon as you're done creating your account, go to TradingView, go to the right side or the bottom, or if you're on your phone, hit Bitcoin and then hit full chart, and you're back here again. And so now what we'll see right now is somewhere in your bottom, you will see Pine Editor, Strategy Tester, Replay Trading, Paper Trading. Um, and then here, you'll actually be able to open this up, and this will allow you to see all your paper trading accounts, your trades that you've made so far. You have a lot of different accounts. But if we're just getting started, I guess maybe I should just try to go ahead and set something up here. I don't know if I have a different account. Well, no, this is going to be the same account here. Um, to walk you through a brand new one just in case you guys are wanting to see it. So maybe I'll do it here. I'll sign out here and just open up a new one. There is a So I think that picture that that you're showing it is Bitcoin, because if you look at the price, it's still 107,000, which is the price of Bitcoin. Maybe we'll check it out right now. Maybe you are able to see both of them. Uh, MD, you missed a little bit. We're just still getting sort of started, but everything is being recorded, so you'll be able to see it back to back. But if you just scroll up a little bit, right above your message is the most important link that you'll need. It's pretty much going to walk you through everything that we're going to cover today. So if you just click that link, you'll be able to read along and catch up to everything we've been able to do. Um, but okay, so let me just start off over from the beginning here. So I'm going to try to sign up with a new account. I'll click here. I'll continue as my other email, verifying it's me. Not account found. You want to create a new one? Yes, I will create a new account. And I'll keep that. I've read. Okay. So now, same thing as I mentioned. I will just go here. I'll start from the top, so that way it's same for everyone, because you're able to see the different options now. So I just made my account. I go to tradingview.com. I see all this stuff. I scroll down. I see Bitcoin, and now I see a third one. So before I only saw two options, and now I see the third one that you're talking about. I hit Bitcoin. I go to full chart. Open this up, and then now if I scroll down, instead of paper trading, I see trading panel. So this is what you guys are going to be seeing as you guys create your panel or your account right away. You will see trading panel, and you will see a lot of different options. You will see paper trading, trade station, and this is what I meant, that if you get comfortable with trading or you're already trading somewhere else, you actually are able to connect many accounts, and there's a lot more to TradingView if you want to go ahead and bring your trades from those platforms. So like if you don't like how Bybit or OKX actually works, and you feel like, you know what, I've got it more comfortable doing stuff on TradingView, you're able to just connect your accounts and do stuff here. All right. So now once you go here, you hit trading panel. I would hit paper trading because that's what we're going to focus on, and it says connect. You hit connect, and then boom, you are now in the paper trading sort of section, and you have all these settings. The order panel and DOM, you can place orders through the order panel and DOM using the trade button. So there's a lot of different ways that you can set trades, and we're gonna go through some right now. So you hit OK, and now you have this right here. But one of the things that we're gonna do, and what we talked about at the beginning, is that we're not automatically, it creates an account with you with $100,000 that you're able to go ahead and do. But we don't want to start with $100,000. We want to go ahead and make it less than that. We're going to start with $1,000. And the reason why we start with $1,000, I was talking to Terrace about this. If we started with $100,000, I feel like it becomes a little less realistic to a lot of us, because not even myself, I'm not opening up a new trading account with $100,000 and starting from there. I think realistically, most people, especially when they're starting the trading journey, you're starting with a lot less than that. You're starting with $100, you're starting with $500, you're starting with $1,000, and that's your funds that you have to play with. Those are the funds that you have to trade with. And I think having a number like that is a lot more realistic for most people, and it makes you feel like, okay, this is actual money. I want to make sure I take every trade seriously. When you're working with $100,000, you're throwing $10,000 at a random coin or like at a random trade. You say, you know what, I believe this is going to go short for the next 10 minutes. I'll throw $10,000 at it. And if it doesn't work, well, it's okay. I still have 90,000 to play with. But that's why we're doing $1,000. I want it to be a little more serious. I want it to be a little more realistic, and I want everyone to feel like, okay, every trade is gonna matter, because if I accidentally lose $100 on my first trade, it's gonna put a big dent in my in sort of in my trading session. So once you have your account, you have a couple ways to go ahead and do that. So if you hit settings, you can either reset account, and when you reset account, it actually brings up this all these options. And here we're actually going to be able to trade the balance. Instead of 100,000, you're able to set 1,000, and you can set the currency. We'll keep everything to USDC or USD, so everyone has the same currency. For leverage, I wouldn't touch anything. I mean, you can raise it up if you want, but I think just to keep it as uniform for everyone and as simple for everyone, so we're not all messing with a bunch of settings, I would just leave this. So you'll still be able to trade some crypto with some leverage. You'll have a 10x leverage, but as you can see, you can go as high as to 125x leverage on your trading. I would not recommend starting, especially if you're starting off trading for the first time. I wouldn't recommend going 125. And for the sakes of this example and this trading competition, like I said, we'll just keep everything as is. The only thing we're changing once you reset your account is the balance. Instead of $100,000, you'll start with 1,000. You can, what is up? He said, I always use 100x leverage. 100x leverage is a lot of fun, but to be safe and keep everyone sort of in the same page, we will use 10x. And then once you do that, you will hit reset, and then boom. So now you will have everyone on the same page, and you will see how much you have. You have your account balance, your equity. Account balance and equity are around the same thing, so you're able to just treat those as the same. Realized P&L. So once you actually start completing your trades, you'll be able to see whether you're in profit or you're in loss. Unrealized P&L means, hey, if you have trades that are still open, trades that you haven't closed yet, you will be able to see how much your profit and loss is based accounting for those trades that are still open. Account margin, as you're able to see here, funds used to keep your positions open. So if you use leverage, and this is a whole nother conversation on how leverage works. If you use leverage, you have to have some sort of collateral that the company uses in order to be able to use your leverage account. So if you trade for $100, but you're using a 10x leverage, you're technically using $1,000 in your trading position, but you only have $100 to lose. So if your position of $1,000 leverage goes down $100, you technically lose everything that you had in that trade because you only put $100 up. Available funds, you have $1,000, and this is the same thing as as these two, but this area will update based on how much you can actually trade with. So if you already have some stuff in trades that are already open, you can't use those same funds to open up another trade. And then orders margins, funds needed to execute your orders. All right. So that's pretty much everything that we have to set up your entire account. I want to stop here again just to ask another question. Does anybody have any questions? If you guys are following along and setting up your own accounts, did you guys get lost anywhere? Was it all clear? Does anyone have any questions here? Let me read the chat real quick. Am I late? And the teaching is important. You're a little bit late, but everything is being recorded, so don't worry. You can go ahead and read back and make sure that you can catch up. What is my daily workout routine? Hanging out with you guys. But okay, if there are no questions, then we'll go ahead and continue. And like I mentioned, this link that Terrace posted here at the top, you'll be able to see everything that we've been keeping up with. This is actually was really good, and so I'm using pretty much all the steps that are here to make sure that I walk you guys through the right steps. MD says, in a situation one trades with $1,000, what is the best leverage or risk to apply? I mean, there's general rules of thumbs. I wouldn't say that there's like a strict rule that you're like, hey, this is the only thing you should do. But generally speaking, and the way what most quote unquote professionals will tell you is that you should only the maximum you should risk per trade, it should be like 1 to 5% of your entire portfolio on a single trade. And that's being very generous. I think because we're working with $1,000, you're able to mess around with those percentages a little bit more. But if you were working with $1 million, 1 to 5% is generally where you would be in the ballpark for any given trade. Because if you have $1 million and you're throwing 10% at a trade, that's $100,000. of your money that you're throwing on a single trade. So 1 to 5%, I think, is a good start. Because we're working with $1,000, you have a little bit more breathing room. But think about it: if you use 10% of your funds to start one trade, that's $100. If for some reason that trade doesn't go your way, you lose 10% of your balance, and now in the competition matter, you're 10% behind everyone else. Um, the good thing is that we're not starting you guys off super degenerate. We're not starting off playing meme coins or playing virtuals or AI agents, because TradingView only has access to these assets. We're doing Bitcoin and Ethereum. So when it comes to your swings that you will see every single day, yes, there are some big swings, as you can see here from the 7th to the 8th. Like this swing was like a month long, but it wasn't that crazy of a swing. If we go here and we go to like let's go to that 1 hour chart, because we're going to be trading per hour. Or let's do the 5 minute chart. This is all one day. So from the 26th, the start of the 26th, the start of today, to right now, you're able to see we opened up the day around here, around $107,422. And right now, where we're sitting at, sort of like 8 hours later through the day, or I guess 16 hours later, because right now it's marketing as 4 p.m. It's $106,939. So with Bitcoin and Ethereum, although you will see pretty big swing days where we have like a 10% day or like a 5% day, whether it's up or down, that's a pretty big swing. And in regular trading, whether that's futures, that's forex, or stocks, that's a pretty big swing. But when you think about crypto, a 5% day, that's not anything big at all. We're so used to seeing a meme coin go like 150% up, or most times 99% down on any given day. So this will be a lot safer for your accounts, or at least to start off trading, than any regular other crypto. So you are able to trade more. I think 1 to 5% is still the right margin. But if you think, hey, you know what, I want to be a little bit more ballsy, I want to go ahead and make sure I can go ahead and get ahead of everyone, you could use 10%. If you want to go crazier, you can go more than that. But that's the general rule of thumb of what I would say. All right, we have a couple more questions. Okay. Major says, please, where can I get the link to the website? If you scroll up a little bit, Major, you'll be able to see it. Terrace posted it like at 8:15. So if you're able to see that link, and this will send you here. And then if you're just joining us now, you'll be a little bit late. But if you just read through this, you'll catch up right quite quickly. Okay. Couple more questions. In the competition, will there be a rule to curb multiple entries on a single trade, or anything goes? No, I think you can put multiple entries on a single trade, because that's the same thing. If I'm understanding your question correctly, I think that's the same thing as setting up 10 $100 trades, or just one $1,000 trade. So if you want to go ahead and bet your whole $1,000 on a single trade, you're more than welcome to. Hopefully it goes well. I'm sure that would put you ahead of everyone, but if it doesn't go well, it will put you behind a lot of people. Let's see. In the competition, can we trade any pair of our choice, or go for Bitcoin? So because the crypto area, it only has these three. We'll be sticking to Bitcoin and Ethereum from now. I'm sure we can try to figure out other things. Maybe in the future, if we want to do stocks, indexes, or even go into the forex pairings to trade some of the currencies, we can do that. But for just to keep it simple for everyone, we're going to be doing Bitcoin and Ethereum. If I eventually get to start trading, how long should I do the paper trading before going on live charts? That's more of a case by case thing. But when I first started, I actually started my trading journey in the forex. So I skipped stocks, and I went straight to forex, because I was on YouTube one day when I was like 17, and I found a bunch of videos on forex, and I was like, dude, that's so cool. Like I can trade the euros to dollars, and trade them to the Mexican pesos and to the yen, and I can make money on how that changes. So I found that super interesting, and I started there. It took me a while. And I was super impatient, and I was like, you know what, screw this fake money, I'm gonna jump in. and I jumped in too early, and the first $500 that I threw at a platform, boom, they were gone within like 3 business days. And then I said, okay, maybe that was just a mistake. I waited for my next paycheck and I put another like $800. 2 weeks later, boom, it was gone. So you can feel like you're confident because you're seeing yourself make a bunch of money on fake money, but having that same consistency and idea of like, okay, I'm gonna stick to my rules and be strict with yourself doesn't really necessarily always go through to actual real money, because when it's your real money that you've actually paid or earned through your hard-earned work, you're a lot more careful. You don't stick to your rules. You're a lot more emotional. And so I would say be patient with yourself. Make sure that you understand the tools, make sure that you understand how you trade. And there's a lot of different ways to trade. There's swing trading, whether you see, okay, well, look at that. All this chart has gone up for so long, it must be coming down here or have a little bit of correction, and then you go short here and then you sell for a little bit here. Or you're like, hey, you know what, I don't like trading so close. I like trading over the next couple months. Okay, what has Bitcoin done over the next month? Will it be going up or down? And you know what, based on these a bunch of different things that I look at, I believe it's going to go up. And then so you start placing a long trade for the longer term. Or if you just say, hey, you know what, I don't care about the charts, I don't care about that, I care more about the macro things, I care about the news, what's happening today, what did Trump tweet about, what did Elon say on X today? Oh, you know what, that's going to make the markets crash, I'm going to go short. A lot of different ways to trade, but making sure that you understand how to do those things properly on fake money first before you move to real money is super important for everyone. So there are specific conditions to look out for to make the big decision. Yeah, there is. And I would say that when you start real trading, I would also start small. That's why we started with $1,000 here on the paper trading. Because when you start big, you start giving yourself this false sense of security because you have a lot of money to play with. When you have a little bit of money to play with, every trade becomes a lot more important. Yeah. So now, if you're just catching up or you're just joining and you're following the link, we are past this area, and now we're gonna start seeing what the trading panel is. So we went through some of these things and what they all mean. We went through some of the settings. You're actually able to change a lot of different settings. Um, for the sake of this competition and this example, I wouldn't change too much, just because TradingView is so complex. I mean, if you look at all the settings that you see here, you have everything over here on the right side, and everything can be changed to be specific to you. And this is more like professional stuff. Like if you're doing trading for a living and every single one of these little patterns means something to you, and you know that if you want it to be precise, you can tweak all those settings to be specific to what you want to do. But if you look at the trade settings, most of this stuff should be kept alone. You shouldn't be changing any of this stuff. General, you want to have a buy and sell button, and that's the stuff over here, the buy and sell button. Definitely keep that on because we want to go ahead and have that there. We that's going to be the easiest way to buy and sell, so we don't want that gone. You have alarms, you have notifications, you have your positions, your profit loss. All this stuff is should be just kept the same. Symbols, you're able to change this. If for some reason you're like me, you're colorblind, you can change some of this colors and make it more visible for you. You have borders, you have wicks. You can turn off wicks. So there's a lot of different ways to trade, and maybe some of you guys will go ahead and take to YouTube to go ahead and learn some lessons on trading. Whether you're doing shorts, where you're looking at candle formations and patterns and things like that. Some pattern formations, or some people decide not to trade with wicks at all. They just care about the opening and closing prices, so they turn off wicks. I wouldn't move anything unless you feel like you know what you're doing. I wouldn't move any of this. I would just keep it the same. You have all these other things, scales, lines that you're able to trade with. So the more comfortable you feel with this platform and the more you trade, the easier this will be. So I'll close that for now. And those are all the settings that you have. Um, the account settings, like I mentioned, we already went through all this stuff. We don't want to change anything when it comes to the leverage. We want to keep it at 10-1. So yes, we'll be able to trade with some leverage, but it won't be 125x leverage. It'll just be 10x. Account reset, we went through that, how you're able to reset to make sure that you're able to change your account balance and everything in between. And the reason why we want to go ahead and create screenshots of your first trade is because an account reset will also reset your positions, your orders, and your history. So I know somebody was asking like, hey, how do we ensure that, this is kept fair and someone isn't just trying with 700 accounts? Is this history thing. So when you create your first trade, which we'll do here in like a minute or two, you'll be able to see your account history. And this account history will show everything. So just to show you guys an example of what that looks like, I see that Bitcoin just took a big dip, and look at that. It's already on the come up. It closed here, it hit a big wick, and that's a fat wick. So for a lot of people say, hey, maybe the selling pressure already got fatigued. We might start going up. So trading a buy here would have been a good trade. But I believe it's going to go up a little bit more, maybe to like here before it comes down. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the buy button. And here you'll see a bunch of things. You'll have the keys, okay? You'll see your order presets. You'll be able to see a lot of different things. But right now, all I want to do is just buy one Bitcoin. I don't want to think too much about it. And then see here, it hits here and tells you that there's an order rejected because I don't have enough to buy one Bitcoin. So yes, I shouldn't have thrown to buy one Bitcoin because I only have $1,000. I can't buy one Bitcoin. So if I want to just go ahead and make a market order, so there's markets, limits, and stops. So if you wanted to buy it at a specific price, you're able to see at what price you want to go ahead and do. Market, I don't want to buy a single unit. I want to buy 0.01, no, 0.01, 0.05, and you're able to see it in real life what that unit would mean. So this is how much in USDC would be. Or if you want to do it in units, or you can just put, hey, I want to buy 50 bucks, or I want to buy $100 worth of Bitcoin. You're able to do that now. You're able to see your information, your leverage, your tick value, and automatically all your leverage would be at 10-1. So be very careful. So maybe we should change that because I didn't realize that it was going to be every single trade with leverage. So I will buy $1 worth of Bitcoin. I guess I will buy $10 worth of Bitcoin. Now I will go ahead and buy Bitcoin at market. And once that trade becomes executed, you will see it here. Market order executed on. It'll show you how much you bought at what price. You're able to see more. You're able to see that it was executed and when it was placed. So you close all that out. And now you see all this here in your chart. So now you see your trade here on this little red. You're able to see that I'm already at a loss. I'm already down 4 cents. This is how much the position has. So I currently own 0.0009 Bitcoin. And then here I can start adding to a take profit or a stop loss. Simply put, a take profit is a line that you draw on your charts or a signal that you give to the trading platform that says, hey, when this token reaches this price, sell. And this is important for people who can't be watching the charts 24/7. Especially like during the day, if you're working and everything, you're not gonna be able to see in the charts. You want to set your take profits and stop losses to ensure that when you come back, you actually are, keep to your own trading patterns. So if I wanted to say, hey, you know what? If I look at the chart, I predict that that Bitcoin will hit around this area because I look at all this area for support and resistance. I'm gonna go ahead and put my take profit here. So you're just able to click and drag. You put it here. I think it will be hit around here. And then it says modify. You just, for the most part, you will just hit modify, and boom, it does it. So now you're able to see your take profit there. And when you do take profits, you also want to go ahead and make stop losses. So just in case your analysis goes completely wrong and everything you thought was going to happen in the chart goes the opposite direction, you don't want to lose all your money. You want to have a stop area that allows you to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to pull out now. I don't want to lose anymore. So that's this one, the SL, stop loss. So same thing, but instead of dragging up, you drag down. So you know what? If it goes down below this wick, or if it goes down below this area, which was the previous support, I will go ahead and cut my losses. So boom. Hit that, and then hit modify. Close it here. And now you're able to see a lot of information here. So like I mentioned, there's a lot of information here that you will have to you will have to be getting used to, and that is why we're doing a paper trading first instead of asking you guys to put your hard-earned money on the line, because there's a big learning curve. So here we already mentioned that you're able to see what your position sizing is. So you're able to see, okay, we own a total of 0.0009 Bitcoin. My profit loss right now, my P&L, as you're able to see down here, is 0.02. So right now I'm down two pennies. You're able to see the account balance. a lot of information changed once we place that order. Account balance is still at 1,000 because we haven't closed the position. If we close a position, then that will become 999.95 because then our new balance would be done. But because equity right now is different, is because we have open positions. Realized P&L, because we haven't closed anything, we haven't realized our positions, it's still 0. Unrealized P&L accounts for all of our open orders. So we're able to see that we're currently down 6 cents on this order that we see here. And you're able to see that the 8 cents matches with the 8 cents that we see here. Account margin is how much leverage we're using to keep our funds open. So right now we're using about $10 or $9 to keep this position open. So we bet $10. This is how much we're keeping this position open. We have available funds of $990. So if we wanted to open up other trades, if we wanted to open up a trade on Ethereum, we still have $990 to play with. So now that's a lot of information I just gave you guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and read the chat and make sure that everything is still good. Dev says my Discord is rugging. I'm sorry to hear that, but hey, we have everything recorded, so you'll be able to watch this back. MD says I haven't been able to set mine up till now. Like we mentioned, this link will walk you through pretty much everything we've gone through so far. So if you just follow this, you will be able to catch up rather quickly. And if you get stuck anywhere, just ask questions. This is a very confusing thing to start with. So asking questions to make sure that you're following the right thing is important. Can I track my progress over time using the history? Yes. So now, and this is the important part and why we place our first trade. In order to keep it as fair as possible for everyone, we want a screenshot of this. So whenever you're actually able to start your trading platform or your trading account, we want to go ahead and ensure that we can see this. So what I would do for everyone is once you start your account should be named something. So mine, I just left it at the regular naming, but obviously you should put something along the sides of, for example, MD. I would put CJN Friends Competition and then -MD. So if I want to go ahead and do another one, I can go ahead and do this. And this is the sort of naming pattern that you should do. So put CJN Friends Trading Comp 100x, or whether it allows you to 100x Friends Competition 100x Caesar. Something like this. So this is what your account should be named at, just to make sure that everyone we're able to see CJN Friends Comp. And then if your name is not super long, if it's short, you could be able to put your tag here, and that would be your thing. If it's too long and you need less letters, just start going out here. You can put CJN Competition, something like that, and then put your username. Create your account. Remember, when you create your account, make sure it's only $1,000. Currency is at USDC. Don't mess with everything else. And then create. If I were to create a new account, then you're able to see this here. And see how when I created a new account, all my history was gone. That is why it's very important for us to see a screenshot of your history at the start, because it allows us to see when you made your account. And that, so I'll talk to Terrace about it, but we want to give everyone around 24 hours from the end of this session to create your account. That way, for anyone who joined late or wasn't able to see it and watched it later or tomorrow, you have around 24 hours from the end of this event, the end of this session, to go ahead and actually create your account and then to post your link. And the reason why we're doing this is so that someone who maybe created an account right now and started trading with 100x leverage, or it shouldn't be 100x leverage, 10x leverage, and started losing a bunch of money, said, hey, you know what, I'm going to make a new account. Well, if they made a new account, then we would see that their first trade was past that deadline, and we'll have to say, hey, you know what? Unfortunately, you started the competition a little bit too late, because what we don't want to see is the competition ends on Sunday, June or July, Sunday, July 6th. What we don't want to see is someone starting a brand new account on July 5th and say, hey, you know what? I've tried like 10 accounts. None of my accounts have worked. I've lost all my money. I want to continue trying it. I'm going to continue going with 10x leverage. I'm going to start another account. We don't want to see someone start a new account every time that they lose money. Obviously, of course, you're able to start a new one if you want to continue trying. but to keep it fair for the competition, we want to ensure that someone who's taken their time and placed trades from the very beginning and maybe been a little bit more conservative has the same opportunity as someone who's maybe a little bit more degen and places bigger trades. But we don't want people to think, you know what, I'm just going to blow through 100 accounts until I get it right, because then that's not fair for the people who have taken their $1,000 balance more seriously. So that is why we're going ahead and asking for a screenshot of your account history. So what I'll go ahead and do is I'll go back to the other account. And that's the beautiful thing though. If you want to just have one for the competition that you're taking more seriously, and you're going to be taking this one a lot more slowly, you're only betting 10 to 20 to $30 to $50, whatever that may be for your own limits. But you're like, you know what? I want to try some more degen stuff. You're just able to create a new account. You can have as many accounts as you like. You're able to create whatever balance you have. Give yourself more leverage. You want to play around with it. You can go ahead and do that. So if I go back to my other account, you're able to go here and still see. And that's the beautiful part. Look at this. You're still able to see the exact same thing. And now I want to show you guys how to go ahead and close this position. One thing, I would be very careful with this button. The reverse position button pretty much changes it from a long position to a short position. So you know how we hit buy because we bought, and when you hit buy, you're pretty much saying, hey, I believe this token will go up. That's why I'm buying it. If you hit sell, you think, hey, this token's gonna go down. I think I'm gonna open up a short. So that's the two. Those are the two different buttons that you can choose. Hitting this reverse position button says, you know what? I no longer think this is a winning position. I don't think this is gonna go up. I honestly think it's gonna go down now. So you turn it from a buy to a sell with just one button. This is a very advanced thing. Very careful with hitting this button. So I think there's those settings that you can turn it off, but just for the most part, just don't hit that button if you don't want to. Obviously, if you do feel like, hey, you know what, this token's going to start going down and I don't believe in my original thesis, you're just able to hit that and boom, it becomes a sell instead of a buy. Let's see a couple more questions. All right. And yes, don't feel like you guys are asking too much questions. I want to make sure that everyone's on the same page. And think about it. All these questions are probably really helpful for anyone who's watching this back later on today or tomorrow. Okay. How do we calculate the risk with the lot size? Um, Bad risk. I would need to know a little bit more what you mean by that question. Of what you mean by calculating the risk. You made mention of some events and some news that are likely to affect market movements. How can one balance it with trading analysis? That's a really good question. I think there's a lot of debate around that from a lot of different traders. There are some people who believe that only trading analysis and or like chart analysis is the only real way to trade. Then there's other people who say none of that matters. Like looking at charts and looking at wicks and looking at candles, all of that doesn't make sense because you just have to look at the macro. And macro means the news, the events, whether there's a war going on, whether someone just passed away, whether someone is crashing out on Twitter. There's people who believe that that's the only thing that matters when it comes to trading. I'm more of like, I believe it's a mixture of both. I do believe there's some people, and the reason why I believe it's a mixture of both is because I honestly believe there are people with a lot of money who control a lot of assets and a lot of volume who trade with just charts. So if they're trading with just charts and certain things hit, they will be using a lot of money to move the market one way or another. The same thing is true with just macro analysis, looking at the idea of like, hey, I'm only looking at the world events and the world view. I also believe that those people can control a lot of money, so they will be trading with that idea in mind. So I would say you have to find the balance that makes sense for you. And the general rule of thumb is how how do you plan on trading yourself? Are you someone that keeps track of the news? Are you someone that's constantly on Twitter seeing what's happening? Are you someone that maybe follows the world news like, hey, this country just went to war with this country, or Trump decided to post this and now everyone's crashing out, or Elon decided to do something crazy on Twitter and stocks are going down. If you're someone that's constantly on there and understands like things that are happening on a day-to-day basis, maybe adding a little bit more of that macro side of things will help you out, especially if you're trading things like Tesla. For example, if I was trading stock, it's a little bit different because we're trading crypto, but if I were trading stocks, and I think most of it follows through, If I was trading Apple stocks, I would not only want to make sure that I do my chart analysis, but I think it would make sense for me to keep track of, hey, when is Apple going to announce their new iPhone? When is it going to announce the new software? What are people thinking of the new iPhone? Are people liking it? Are people thinking it's a scam? Are people thinking like, damn, this phone sucks? All those things would probably lead me to feel a little bit more inclined to buy a stock or to sell a stock. So when it comes to general analysis, one, you want to make sure that you keep your charts pretty well, that you're seeing the patterns. Like, look at this. Oh, true. I do not want to modify that. Like, look at this. Our first trade. I don't want to say it, but hey, so far we're profitable right now on our first trade. We're about to hit a take profit as we're talking right now. But if you're doing these things, not only do you want to keep track of your chart analysis, but maybe, hey, if something news, like, and this goes with crypto too, like, for example, we're trading Bitcoin right now. If right now we saw a tweet from Watcher Guru that said, hey, the US government just said that all of Bitcoin is banned from trading. No one can buy or sell Bitcoin without doing it illegally. You know that's going to affect the Bitcoin price. So that's when I would that's when I would go say, you know what, screw my chart analysis. Let me go with the current news events that are happening right now, because that's probably a little bit more prevalent than any analysis that I made based on charts. And the same thing goes the other way. Maybe there are no news for the next week and a half. Like, everything is focused on other stuff. Maybe now I rely a little bit more on the market analysis and the chart analysis than rather than the macro side of things. I hope that gave you a little bit more information as to where my line of thinking is. But at the end of the day, you should find the nice medium and balance that makes sense for you and your trading patterns. What are some training strategies they should look into, or trend analysis tools they should consider looking into to help them on their trading journey? I think that goes a little bit into the same thing that we learned right now. Um, Whether you're trading more of the macro analysis, following things like Watcher Guru. Let me see. Let me go to Twitter and show you guys what that would look like. I think there's a couple of accounts, especially if you're looking more of the news side of things. There's a couple of people or a couple accounts that you should definitely be watching. Watcher Guru, I think, is the one that's the easiest one and that everyone should follow. And this is not because I endorse them or anything. I just think that I've kept their notifications on for a while, and they're pretty much just a trading account that shows you like, hey, look at that. Just in, Coinbase to launch perpetual style crypto futures in the US on July 21st. Boom. That's awesome. That would probably make the Coinbase stock pump a little bit if you thought that was a bullish sign. If you think, wow, I hate perpetual style cryptos, I think that's a bearish sign, then you would use that as a bearish signal. But this here would be good, especially for our crypto competition. They do a lot of crypto stuff. They do a lot more world stuff too. But this is a good account to follow and just have like notifications on for, because they'll also, one of the things that I really enjoy about them is, let me scroll down a little bit. Let's see when they post it. But sometimes they'll post just in, look at that, just in Bitcoin reclaims 108,000. So if yesterday I saw that Bitcoin was 102,000 and I get a message on my phone saying, "Hey, look at that, Bitcoin just hit 108,000." Now I know, okay, we're swing trading the other way. People are being a little less bearish, and now we're going up again, which is something that we saw here. Like, look, we hit a big down all the way to 98,000 a couple days ago. 4 days ago we hit 98,000. That's insane. And then we bounced back up. We hit another big down to 99, and look at that. Since we hit 99 this whole week, ever since Monday, this entire week has been nothing but green, which is beautiful. That's what we want to see. That's one account that I would advise everyone to follow, have notifications on, because hey, that's a pretty good one to follow. There's a couple other ones, but I like to follow accounts that are, as unbiased as possible. And I think Watcher Guru has done a really good job of just stating the news, not giving you their opinion on the news. And sometimes having people's opinions is really important, because hey, you want to hear what people think, you want to hear what their point of view is. But sometimes, especially with trading and trying to keep it as level-headed as possible, you just want to know the news, not what people think of the news. Right. You can ask, what if I have no money right now? Should I risk it for the biscuit? Will you use my accounts like 100x my wallet like yours? If you don't want to risk it for the biscuit and use your own money, that's the beautiful part of this trading competition. We are starting everyone off with $1,000, and that $1,000 is on us. Don't you worry. If you want another thousand, we can give you another thousand in paper trading money. But We hit it. Look at that. Oh, right on trade. Look at that. Our first trade live here with you guys was a W. We entered here and we closed here. Our take profit has been hit. So look at that. If you scroll up a little bit, our account balance now is 100,027 cents. So we have made 27 cents live here with everyone on our very first trade. And now, if you go to your history, you're able to see a lot of different things. You're able to see, boom. So the first thing that we did was rejected because we tried to buy one whole Bitcoin, which we can't. We don't have enough money. We're not balling like that. We can't buy one whole Bitcoin. That was rejected on this date. But then after that, we decided to buy 0.009 Bitcoin at a price of $107,068, and it was filled, meaning that it was given with a leverage of 10 to 1, a margin of $10, and then that was going ahead and filled here. Then I set a take profit loss and or take profit and a stop loss for this price of a limit price of 107,365 and a stop loss at 106,773. And as you're able to see here, the stop loss, that's the sell that I put in, was canceled because my take profit was filled. So you're able to see a lot of important information here, especially whenever you decide to call it a day for the trading and you decide to go to sleep and you come back the next morning, you're like, hey, what the heck? What happened to all my trades? Then you can come here to your history and see, okay, cool, my take profit hit, or you know what, dang, my stop loss hit, so I wasn't right on that one. But you're able to see exactly when it happened, when you placed the order, and when it actually occurred. So this order was only open for about 16 minutes. In 16 minutes, we made our first profitable order here live with you guys. All right. Dominic says, just join the call. We're doing a trading competition over with paper trading. All right. Can I be updated on what I missed? Yes, we will have a recording, but if you want to just go ahead and read through everything we've been going through, Terrace posted a really good link that I would suggest everyone, even if you're watching the recording, to read through this and maybe watch the video. It's like a 26-minute video, but if you watch it at 2x speed, it goes by pretty quickly. We're paper trading, having a trading competition here for the next 2 weeks, and what we've been going through for the last hour is just pretty much just getting everyone set up and how to do this properly. We have more questions. Dev says, so that means we're to utilize the 1K until the end of the competition. Correct. Obviously, if we make a profitable trading, like look at that, we're balling now. Instead of 1,000, now we have 1,027 cents. So now I can go ahead and use that money. So yes, the goal is to use this $1,000, whether you're up or down. This is the only amount that you're able to use. It's all about net profit during the time frame. So if 20 people blow their account and you made $5, you win. That is very true. This isn't necessarily of like a competition of coming back with $100,000. I mean, if one of you guys comes back with $100,000, starting with 1,000, and you guys did it right, like you started from today and you came back on the 6th with $100,000, yeah, we could talk. We can have a different conversation. Maybe I need to hire you and see what's up. If someone's able to do that, that'd be insane. But yes, sometimes even ending up with $1,100 will be enough, because you have to think about, maybe some people are going to go super degen and not take it super seriously and decide, hey, you know what, I'm gonna 10x leverage every single trade and just risk it for the biscuit. And then let's see. Not even ready. My message is crazy, but Caesar's such a nice guy. Can you put me through? What's MT5? MT5. Where did you see that? The MT5 is a different trading platform or a different trading form.
Sounds like MetaTrader.
Yeah, MetaTrader. Yeah, because I haven't heard of MT5 in a minute. I used to use MT4 when I traded forex. That's why.
Forex.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why I know what MT5 is. I was like, where did they see that? Maybe on the forex section.
probably because it has Forex on the TradingView aspects too, or the brokers actually probably because MT5 has its own brokerage.
Yeah.
So
Okay, I see. I just saw your
But yeah,
message about
I
not
think what
starting
we're
right now.
gonna do. Yeah, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure that everybody can get their account set up their account first, and then what we can do is we can start the trading on Saturday morning. That way, give people a chance to get access to the platform, set it up. If they have any questions or have any troubleshooting needs, then we can make sure that everybody that wants to participate can over the next 2 weeks, rather than excluding people with like a 24-hour limit or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, because some people have work, some people have school. We have a lot of people who are typically in school during the week, so it'd be nice to give them a chance. And then it would run from Saturday to the next Sunday, which, or, well, yeah, no. When did I say that was ending?
July
I'm messed up
6th.
today. Yeah, July 6th. Okay, and then that gives us time to review the winners and stuff for that week. So yeah, this is a little bit of a bigger competition this week, guys, or over the next 2 weeks, because you guys it's going to be a little more involved. You're going to have to take your time with this. You're going to have to be meticulous. Make sure that you're trying to be careful with the trades. Make sure that you're trying to learn about the different aspects of trading and like the trend analysis tools and stuff. We can give you an introduction to it. We can guide you down it, but like to really break them all down would take a lot of time, and typically we only have about an hour for the To the Moon events. As we start to expand them out more, we can include more instructional and more tutorial stuff as we go, but for right now this is what we got, so you guys have to do some research on your own. The rewards are anywhere from $50 to $10 for the first to fifth place pager, and it's all based on net profit. So just degenning your $1,000 into BTC at 10x leverage is and you losing would then eliminate you from the drawings or the chance to win. So yeah. Oh, all right. Let's see.
Yeah,
So
there
the
was a couple other
sixth.
questions. As you go through that, I can try to see if I can answer them. Um,
Yeah, go for it, bro.
there was one that I saw here. I think you answered them really well. But Marshmallow or Arshmallow, how do you deal with greed? I think Terrence said it right. You're not only like here, I could have just said, "Damn, it hit my take profit too fast. What if it kept going up?" And it did go up for a little bit, but now if you see here, as soon as it hit that same area that we had marked, it was actually almost to the thought. Like I put the take profit here, and it went up a little bit more, which hit this little area, and now started going down again. Um, so yeah, sometimes there will be, but there sometimes will be times where you go ahead and put your take profit, and you think, okay, you know what, that's being generous. It probably might not even hit there, but then it just breaks through. Maybe they announced that. Trump says, "Hey, you know what? Bitcoin is going to be used for everything now. You'll be able to buy your groceries with Bitcoin, and every store is now uh, has to accept Bitcoin as a trading currency. That would probably blow a lot of people's mind, and Bitcoin would go to the moon. No pun intended. Uh, Here, and then maybe that would break your general analysis. There are going to be times, or maybe there's times where you set your stop loss thinking, okay, there's no way that the coin will ever hit those lows, and then something tragic happens on the timeline and it goes down. You can't really, and that's why we say take profits and stop losses for those like scenarios where like, hey, maybe things don't go the way that we expected, but at least we have certain marks set in place to make sure that we can keep ourselves as consistent. And it's really about discipline. You want to make sure that you stick to your rules, and that's one of the things that I've learned as a trader is the most important part. When you deviate from your own rules, and this is something that you come up with yourself, you start figuring out how risky of a trader am I, how conservative am I, how do I like to trade, do I like to trade on pure analysis or more of the news type style. Once you start figuring that out yourself, and it's all valid. If you're like, you know what, I don't care about the news, I'm only doing candle analysis, and you start looking up candle videos on YouTube, like what are the different candle patterns, and maybe you guys should do this too throughout those 2 weeks. Look up YouTube videos on how to analyze patterns using candles and wicks. And you'll find a lot of different videos on there on how to do that. And maybe you decide that that's the thing that makes the most sense to you and what makes you happy and what makes you feel like a good trader. Then only do that. And then if you're like, you know what, that's too confusing, but I do understand the news. I do understand if this happens, that's a bad sign. Maybe I should short. Hey, if this happens, that's a good sign. Once you start finding things out for yourself, and this is not something I can tell you guys because it's different for everyone. As you start finding that out yourself, you'll start be able to realize, hey, as long as you stay disciplined and you stick to your own rules that you set for yourself, you will be okay more often than not. If you start realizing after like a couple weeks that your rules aren't working out and you're not getting any profitable trades, then it's maybe time to adjust your rules a little bit. But if you're saying, hey, you know what, as long as I stick to these 10 rules that I've set for myself, I am profitable more than 50% of the time. If you're profitable more than 50% of the time, you are winning. You are a profitable trader. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. But once you find your rules, stick to them. The times that I've lost a lot of money is when I decide to deviate from my own rules, or I start getting greedy, or I start getting too conservative, when you start letting your emotions come into it instead of your analysis, that's when things get late dangerous. But if you stick to your rules, you stick to your own guts, you try to take the emotions out of it and be more analytical about it, that's how profitable traders come to be. And we trade with any currency, it's going to be Bitcoin and Ethereum for now. And you're able to see here, you just click through the two different things and you're able to see. Oh, and I think I know someone was asking us why there's two Bitcoins. One is Bitcoin using Bitstamp and the other one's using Binance. The only thing that changes here is the oracles. So as you're able to see, there's a slight deviation of price. This one's $107,212. On Binance, it's $107,134. So there's a slight deviation, and this is something that you see all over the place. Bitcoin's price is never the same, quote unquote. There's some deviations based on where you're buying it from. Same thing like eggs. If you go buy eggs at grocery outlet, there may be $3 for a dozen. But if you go to Walmart, there may be $5 a dozen, even though they're the same eggs. That's the same thing here. Oh, they can't hear me. Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me now?
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hey, I am glad that didn't happen. I was low key scared it was gonna happen at some point during the entire like thing. So now the fact that
I was listening,
it,
so
yeah. So I was
I
scared.
I
So
I I had one ear to the event just so that I can make sure.
okay, well there you go. So yeah, that's what I was saying. It's gonna be the same Bitcoin. It just depends if you want to buy Bitcoin on Binance or if you're trying to trade Bitcoin on Bitstamp. One is using the US dollar and the other one is using USDT. So there's slight deviations there, but both will work the same. If you have, for some reason, some preferences over the other, feel free to use either one or feel free to use both. See, maybe when you have better luck with the other one. I don't think it should be much different, but yes.
I don't think there is a like an active difference between the two. I've never seen any variation between the two of them anyway. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But that's pretty much everything I had here today. Like we mentioned, it's going to be more of just setting up how to buy and sell. And I know, actually, Terrace, I saw that you were asking whether we can do shorts or longs. You are able to do shorts. It's just based on which button you press. So hitting long or hitting buy opens up a long, and hitting sell opens up a short. So if I were to hit sell here, I can decide how much I want to spend. So say if I want to do $100, you're able to see what I can put sell. And now it's the exact same thing as we did for the
Oh,
long.
you're not sharing your screen anymore
Oh,
because
that's
you
right,
got
because
moved.
I got kicked out.
Yeah.
As we mentioned, this is all being recorded, so even if on Discord you're not seeing some things, you will be able to see it on the recording. So, well, then let me close
Woohoo!
that. Boom. We'll close that. I'll probably lose a couple cents. Well, no, I didn't lose anything because it didn't move. So instead of hitting buy here, if I just hit sell, and there's also a couple other ways you can go ahead and right click and sell and buy. So if you're like, you know what, going all the way to the left is too much, you can always just right click and hit buy or sell, or even add alerts if something happens. But if you just hit sell, instead of hitting units, you just go to margin. You say I want to sell. I want to open up a short with $100. You hit sell, and boom, exactly like how we did earlier, and opened up a long. Now we have a sell. So now I'm thinking, you know what? We hit the target prices that we were thinking. Now it's going to come down a little bit. Now instead of taking profits up, you take profits down because you're trying to go short. I'll bring it here because this is just going to be a quick one. Boom. I'll open up there, hit modify. Now I have my take profit. but say, you know what, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's going to continue going up. I don't want it to go too much higher. But if it goes to like here, if it goes back to the high that it hit a little bit ago, I will take my loss. Boom. And this shows you like another big thing. Hey, I'm risking $100. I'm risking losing $1.84 to potentially earn $1.58. So most of the times you don't want to risk losing more for what you're willing to gain. You want to be the other way. You want to be willing to gain more for losing less. So this was just more of an example. I probably wouldn't open this trade normally, just because I wouldn't want to have more of a stop loss than a take profit. But this was just to show that, hey, you can also open up longs and shorts. So you don't just always have to buy. If you think, hey, the market's going to dump today, you can go the other way as well. And if you guys have any other questions, whether it's today or for anyone watching this recording back tomorrow or Monday, you guys know where to find me. 100xcs are at on Twitter, on Discord here too. Shoot me a message on Discord. It'll probably be a little bit harder just because I have a lot of security features on, so I don't receive a bunch of random messages for people trying to get my seed phrase. But if you shoot me a message, tag me on here on this Discord. I'll probably answer any questions here on Discord too, and then I'll add you if anything else. But yeah, that's pretty much
You know
everything.
what? I'm gonna give it a si- I see that you don't have a lot of the roles. I'm gonna just toss the roll on you so that you have it and can see the trading section that we have here.
Thank you.
Yeah, because that's where we actually have the screenshots going in the analysis forum. So they'll be able to post their screenshots for the paper trading competition, and yeah, we'll be able to get this contest rolling. Like I said, I think we're gonna do it for Saturday, just to give people some time to get their account set up, ask questions if they need, and then how about an approach to SL application, stop loss application? That's it depends on how much you're willing to risk and how much profit you're trying to gain, like realistically, right,
Yeah,
Caesar?
yeah. And my general rule of thumb, like the two examples that we did here today, were more of like off the cuff. Like it wasn't too much analysis. Like as you see, I don't have any lines here. I don't have any patterns here drawn. But for me, the general rule of thumb, especially when I'm opening up a trade, is I entered here. My stop loss is a general area of where I think the coin will try to gravitate towards. A lot of people believe that charts have some sort of magnetism to them. Like they're generally drawn to specific areas because that's where a lot of people's psychology goes to. So for a stop loss, the reason why I placed it here is if I looked here at the past, like well, the immediate past, this was the last like top. This was where it found resistance. As soon as they hit here, it came back down. So my psychology says, well, it's my if it goes the other way, it's gonna stop by here first, and this will be the first line of resistance. So maybe I want to put it a little bit higher than that. So just in case it tries to fake me out, and then it won't hit that. But it's just that general area of like, okay, where do you see the chart going to? Maybe your stop loss is all the way up here. But like Tara said, if my stop loss is all the way up here, I don't want my take profit to just be here because then look at that. I'm risking losing $2.43 for only gaining $1.58. But now, if I were to say, you know what, my take profit is going to be all the way down here because I think the market's going to continue dumping all the way here. Boom. Well, now you see that my take profit is a lot bigger than my stop loss. So, just more of like how long you want the trade to be. If you want quick swing trades, the margin is going to be a lot closer and a lot tighter. If you're going to do say something, you know what, I'm about to go to bed, I'm just going to leave it an order open overnight. You want the margins to be a little bit wider, just so you know it can last through the entire night. Or it's if something happens overnight, then you're able to have that open. But that's my general rule of thumb. You look at signs, whether it's in the immediate past or the immediate future, or if you start looking backwards, like okay, if I were to open up a long, I would maybe want to use this as my take profit, or maybe if I were to be super bullish, something told me that it's gonna make this go all the way up, then maybe I use this area, this range, because you see all this like all this resistance that we saw here. Like you saw a bunch of bounces back here. You saw one bounce, two bounce, three bounce, four bounces, five bounces, 6, 7, like all this, like this area would probably be a good one for me if I were looking for long-term trade. Because if you look down the line, you see how many times this area was a form of resistance and a place where it saw a lot of bounces back. And same thing with my stop loss or my take profit the other way. This area, see where I marked this take profit here for a short. Boom, this area found some resistance here as well. Here it broke it through, but look, it bounced up and down around this area. Here the wick almost hit here, and then most recently it was around here. So there's no general, like there's no specific rule that will tell you this is exactly what you should do every single time. It's more of like general rules of thumbs. um, and just to close it on another win, we're gonna close this position and look at that, 2 wins back to back. Are we traders or are we traders? Just kidding.
All right. So we're gonna do the 3-person giveaway. I actually did something cool today. I took the Engage bot, and thanks to John Claude for making me realize that I could use the Engage bot this way, because I didn't realize that it would work with stages. But what we've got is we've got a list of people who have attended the stage today up until this point. So I've got a list of 32 people. I've taken voice snapshots throughout the entirety of the event. We've had 30 people, 2 people join us and leave, and that's aside from me, Caesar, and our mod, our lovely mod, Ezia, who's hanging out in the audience there. I see you. Um, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a quick draw here. Let me just share my screen. Um, I'll do it through my if it'll load up, but I'll do it through my Streamlabs real quick. Hold on. And what we'll do is we'll draw the 3 winners for today. Streamlabs, turn on, bang. So here we go. And these are all in Discord names, or Discord IDs. So you guys will not be able to tell who won until I tag you in the audience. So you guys can't even guess. You guys can't even guess. It's gonna be so suspenseful. You guys are gonna love it. All right. So we're gonna do 3 spins, 3 winners of 10 USDT. I would have loved to do questions, but we had a lot of questions, and it would be really weird to not like just give a an equal chance to everybody to win here. So we're gonna go with the first spin. Ready, steady, let's go. It's only 10 seconds. We're gonna get the winner, and then I am going to tag you in the chat here, and hopefully this works the way I think it's going to work. Yes. Good. I can copy it. Haha. Da, 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 da. The first winner is Crystal Gem. Congratulations, Crystal Gem, on the 10 USDT win. Second winner, let's go. And this is actually a lot smoother. Do you know how hard it is, Caesar? Like I'm sitting there trying to friggin' use screenshots of the audience to fucking get
To set up the ducks.
get yeah, yeah. And it's like hallucinating. It's like on shrooms or something the whole time. I'm like, what are you doing? I had 86 people. It's like, no, you didn't. You had 85. I'm like, no, that's not what I had. All right. Congratulations, Sam in 2 for participating and winning 10 USDT. And we've got our last winner coming up now. Ready? Steady, let's go. Let's see who we got. Ready, steady, let's go. As I'm spinning the friggin' wheel, right? Um, let's see who we got. And our last winner is Chelsea. Da, 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 da. Renz. Hey, Lawrence, you won. It's been forever, buddy. Congratulations, guys. Uh, but yeah, I really do appreciate you taking the time to come up here and hang out with us, Caesar, and teach our friends about trading and how to do better in their speculative gambling aspect of life. As my Islamic friends would say, haram, haram. But you got to do it, right? Like you got to learn, you got to have fun with it, right? Otherwise, you get wrecked, right?
That is
But
very
yeah.
true. So yeah, thank you for having me. Hopefully the session was very informative and everyone has hopefully no issues setting up their accounts. But like we mentioned, the recording will be live for everyone. That link, walks you through a lot of different things. Don't try to change your settings too much and get yourself lost. But if you ever do, just reset your account, start over, and have fun. At the end of the day, it's about having fun, learning along the way, and then bettering yourself. I mean, at 100x, that's what we really believe, having that 100x mentality to improve, continue improving yourself. And hopefully, we're able to do that here.
I appreciate it because that's what I try to do every day with the guild hall here. Just trying to help them learn and improve, do a little bit better every day with either graphics creation or content creation or whatever. So like doing this um for the financial aspect beyond just like trying to find a job in the space or get monetized. Being able to do it consistently in a trading way where you can consistently make money and grow your account and portfolio as you go will also benefit people in that way too. So I'm excited for that, man. Thank you for helping us with it.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm excited to see how everyone does in the competition. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, make sure you guys tag me either on here, Discord, Twitter, anywhere else in between. And I hope that you guys are able to have a lot of success. And I'm excited to see who wins that $50 next in 2 weeks.
That is one question that I do wanna touch on before you leave, if you have like another 2 minutes.
Yeah, of course.
Virion said, "What if you sell, like if you short sell a token, thinking that it was gonna die and it rugs and it goes to zero? What happens then?"
Well, that's where it gets interesting. So if we were doing it on a meme coin, and that's why there's no real markets like longs and shorts for memes, just because there's no one who wants to take that risk and no one who wants to fill that order. Um, and that's why it's more you see shorts and longs only in like bitcoins, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, things like that, is because those are markets that people are willing to gamble on, and most people don't think that it will ever dip to zero, or else like somebody wouldn't want to fill that. But yes, in a theoretical world where if you were to set a short for a coin thinking it's going to go to zero, whoever accepted your order, because that's how and that this is just like a general thing. There's a lot of more intricacies going to it. But if you were to open up a short, someone on the other side has to accept your bet. So you're pretty much saying, hey, I bet you this token is going to go to zero. And you say, you know what? Nah, I don't believe you. I'll take that bet. And so it's like betting someone that the coin will go to zero. If you win that bet, me as a person that accepted that bet, and most of the time this is a bank or an institution or someone with a lot of money, accepts your position and says, I'll take you on with that bet. And then if you win, then I would have to pay you out to fulfill that bet. But if you lose, then what you lose is the collateral that you gave me. As me being someone that accepted that bet and I'm the one taking the risk because I'd be the one paying you out, I would keep your collateral that you have up. So that's how it would normally work. But because no one wants to take those gambles with meme coins, that's why you don't really see a lot of futures markets in meme coins, because no one wants to bet you that a coin will go to zero when there's a high probability that a coin will go to zero.
All right. The same. So that's pretty much the answer there, Virion. The most tokens, yeah. Yeah, like it's scary thinking about because usually and we've had instances where like markets crashed and like if a lot of you remember like the Solana deal and FTX and everything that happened around there with Luna, like they froze like trading platforms and exchanges and shit around these major tokens because of what was going on with the market. So like you got to be careful because there's still a centralized aspect to everything in trading, especially when you're in like a perpetuals market or something with like Bybit or KuCoin or something like that. If it's going to zero and like some major market shit happens, you could potentially lose your short position even though you were in profit. Like it's crazy, but just consider like taking your profits where when you can before shit happens. Didn't like millions of people have their accounts locked during that time? Even Robinhood was like locking out accounts, weren't they?
Yeah, that's the unfortunate scenario that we live in, where You try to play by the rules, and sometimes the institutions say, "Well, too bad we're changing the rules," even though we
We
already
make
told
the
you.
rules.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah. A lot of people lost big, but we're coming back from it, thankfully. All right, Caesar, I appreciate you, brother. Virion. Virion will ask you questions until next week, bro. I am not kidding. She loves learning about this shit.
The question was, how do you read charts? I was waiting for you to do that. Well, that's like we mentioned. That's more of like a individual person by person take. There's different ways to do that. There's market analysis, whether you're doing the specific charts, and to do that, that's going to take a lot more than an hour and a half.
Yep.
And then there's more of like,
Um,
and I mentioned a little bit more of my
Go ahead.
way is like a half of like, hey, I'm looking at the charts, I'm looking at the candles to be able to say, hey, this is where my stop loss and my take profit is going to be. But I use more of like the general sentiment of the market, whether that's, hey, this week we had some really good news. The tariffs are going down. The tariffs are being paused. So and so war ended. Some resolutions are happening here. For me, that tells me this week is going to be generally a good week, and this week has been a good week. Like you saw from Monday, as we saw when we looked at the chart. Since Monday, we were at like a 99,000 all the way to 108,000 for Bitcoin. That's a really good week. So that would just tell me, hey, generally, I'm going to be looking at longs in that area, but there's also chances for you to do shorts, as we proved here today. We saw, hey, in one session of an hour and a half, we were able to make a profitable long trade and a profitable short trade. Of course, they're not going to be super profit like super big trades because they're short window swing trades, but you're able to see, hey, you look at your resistance, your support, when you do your profits, when you do your buys, and you're able to make a lot of trades that way. Yes, if you want to trade like me, I am more news based, but there's a lot of people who believe the news have nothing to do with it, and you're just looking at the candles and the resistance and the support lines, and that's also very good as well. So it just depends on for yourself, like what do you find the most enjoyable, what do you feel like makes the most sense to you, and then figure out your rules that way. So no one will ever be able to tell you like this is exactly what you should do to be profitable. It's more of you finding that out yourself.
Have you ever checked out Investors Underground, Caesar?
I don't think so.
They were a really big group that I was following when I first started getting into trading. And they have a free like beginners course of 8 different videos of like anywhere from an hour, like a half hour to like 45 minutes per video, all about like the beginning, candles, volume, TNS, friggin' bullish chart patterns, stock breakouts. It's all based on stocks though, but most of this trend analysis will apply to crypto. It's just it crypto is a lot more volatile.
Yeah.
So like I always recommend these guys to check out if you're getting into trading or new to it, because it'll help. It may not apply directly to crypto, exactly, but stuff like this would apply towards forex. It would apply towards crypto, stocks. These are things that you can use. It's just you have to adapt it for whatever platform you're working with. Um, but yeah, like I'm gonna include some of these resources, and if you have any that they can check out, any videos that you would recommend, or anything like you guys have, maybe you guys have some 100x YouTubes on trend analysis, reading sentiment, stuff like that, then we can work with that and put some of those in the announcement for the trading.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely, dude. I'll send you some videos. I'll send some links over and then see if that can help out people as well. Like you mentioned, there is many ways to trade and approach a chart and approach a sell and a buy. It just depends on what makes the most sense to you. For some people, reading the charts and looking at candles is the only way that really makes sense to them in terms of trading. And there's some people who just say, "Hey, I'm looking at trading as taking a bet in the future, and to me, that just makes most sense when you look at the news. Um, I think both are very valid approaches, and you just have to find the one that makes you feel like you have an edge. Because at the end of the day, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for an edge in the markets, and that's where you make your money.
Yep. All right, guys. So we're gonna cut this off. I'm gonna get all this information compiled for you. I'm gonna toss it in a really nice long announcement under the event announcements so that you guys have it all in one centralized place. I'm gonna talk it over with Caesar and figure out how long we should give you guys, maybe 48 hours, 72 hours, something like that, so that you guys can get prepped. If you guys have any questions, make sure that you have the traders role, the training intern role, and you will be able to get access to the Traders Guild. I'm actually considering calling like events for Traders Guild trading floor because to kind of it says sort of like guild hall for writers guild, trading floor for traders. But yeah, we're gonna start doing more events around trading. We're gonna have more uh opportunities for Caesar to potentially come up. We're gonna have more people potentially coming in and sharing their knowledge and their experience in the industry around trading, charting, sentiment, meme tokens, whatever the case, and to try to help you guys level up your knowledge and potentially make a profit. I appreciate everybody taking the time to come out today. I appreciate you taking the time to help us learn, Caesar, and we will continue this another time.
Oh yeah, thank you guys for coming by. Thank you for having me again. See you guys next time.
All right. Let me